so right. We are back after quite some time, and I know a lot of you are asking, RNC, where the hell have you been? It's been 9 months since your last upload. Hell, it's been a whole ass year and a half since your last prediction video. Where have you been? Well, guys, I can just tell you this. I'm fine. I'm okay. But when work and school have your attention, it tends to take away your passion in filmmaking and video production and making YouTube videos. But I am back for this very special occasion. I am back for UFC Freedom 250, Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Guys, what can I say that hasn't been said about this card? Particularly the fight card itself. I am going to be putting my political beliefs aside from this event because the amount of controversy it has already is just too much to get into. To be honest, I'm not a political guy. I'm not, especially for this channel. I only break down the fights, the fighters, the styles, and the sport overall. So without any further ado, let's break down UFC Freedom 250. Before I break down the card, can I just say one last thing? Look at these ring card girl outfits. I'm assuming this is supposed to be, it's almost supposed to be what they did for UFC Noche, having the Mexican inspired outfits for the ring card girls. And they did it with here, but guys, can I just say these look absolutely terrible. It looks like something out of an episode of The Boys. I'm expecting this in a Homelander rally. So yeah, I just wanted to say these outfits look terrible. Party City, Homelander rally, but that's it. Let's break down this entire card, which isn't even that bad. There's only 7 fights to break down, which, thank God, because they added Josh Hokit versus Derrick Lewis. That definitely did save up the card, but opening up the entire main card is an absolute banger. I just want to say, each and every single one of these fights can be a fight night main event, pay-per-view co-main event, or even a pay-per-view main event itself. So, breaking down the entire first fight on the entire main card. It's number 2 in the world, Diego Lopes versus number 9, Steve Garcia. Sigh in disbelief because I don't know who's going to win this fight, guys. This has to be, I think almost every single fight has the potential to be an absolute banger. This one in particular could be an absolute banger, or it could be a bit of a snoozer, you know? But yeah, just like what the Polymark has it, just like the fans have it, it is 50-50 as it gets. They have Diego Lopes at just a slight 170 favorite, while Diego Lopes is a plus 140 dog. I'm just going on Tapology odds for these. They could be different in any different betting organization, betting website. So yeah, they have almost a 82% going with Lopes and an 18% going with Garcia. Guys, I think this fight is way closer than people give it credit. I think if we're going for boxing, almost punch for punch, I'd say the power is almost a little even. I'd say Diego Lopes just has a little bit more punching power, especially definitely have more ferocity in his punches, especially with his hooks coming in. Definitely has a decent jab, but what his main priority is when his opponents normally get on the inside, that's when he normally rips hooks combinations, and that's when it normally finds his most success. And against Steve Garcia, who normally goes at a straight line, we don't normally see in his style or in his boxing nor in his footwork that Steve Garcia doesn't really move laterally. He kind of just moves at a straight line, and that could honestly pose problems for Steve Garcia if he gets caught, because one fight in particular that I think is the Mahashate fight where he got caught coming in, and it could possibly happen with here. Diego Lopes is a dog despite what anybody makes of his style or skill set or even fight IQ at times. He is a game-bred fighter, when especially if it hits the ground. When it hits the ground, that is his absolute world. And I think even in this fight, he has a massive chance on the floor. So it really depends on A, if Diego Lopes can hurt Garcia, B, if Lopes can take down Garcia, and C, can control him. And I definitely do think it can happen. It's 50-50. The more I think about it, the more I lean towards Lopes, but I can't be lying here. I think Steve Garcia is an absolute dog. He's been on a 7-fight win streak, and I know the competition isn't comparable compared to who Diego Lopes has fought, and that could be a thing here. The level of competition could be a thing. Experience trumps everything, so it's a bit of a tough one. I'm bringing up height in this. Both guys are tall, but I'd say Diego Lopes is a lot more wider, definitely has a wider frame, especially in his narrow shoulders. And he's been training in Oklahoma, grappling, wrestling. So it's a tough one. The more I talk about this fight, the more I lean Diego Lopes. But I remember when this fight was announced 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, my initial lean was Steve Garcia. But the more I talk about it, the more I break it down, the more I lean Diego Lopes. So it's a bit of a tough one, man. I'd say Steve Garcia is the better boxer, better striker, but it's the danger zone if Diego Lopes could hurt Steve Garcia. And if he takes him down, he can definitely control him for 3 rounds. There's a lot of variables in this one. I think it's 50-50, way closer than what people give it. So I could flip-flop. I could make my pick come fight night, but early lean, I'm going to go with Steve Garcia to get the win via possible split decision. And again, guys, this pick in particular, I'd say almost every other card or every other fight on this pick is solidified, but this one I'm 50-50 on, and any given day or any given hour, I could switch it up. So again, early lean, Steve Garcia split decision, but don't be surprised if I change it up come fight night. We move on to the next fight on the main card, a middleweight fight between Bo Nickal and Kyle Daukaus. This one is a pretty obvious pick if I'm being particularly honest, but I won't lie, I was pretty tempted on picking the underdog side of Kyle Daukaus. I am one of the few believers in Kyle Daukaus, though he's been on a pretty awesome win streak. The UFC competition hasn't been the strongest. I know he's coming off a win over GM3, but at this point in time, who hasn't beat Gerald Meerschaert? And before that, had a brutal KO win over Michel Pereira. On short notice, by the way, as an underdog. I remember picking Kyle Daukaus just as a coin flip, and he knocked out Michel Pereira. So he's been on pretty of a good win streak since coming back to the UFC. And I can't lie, I know almost 78% are picking Nickal, claiming this to be the safest pick on the card, which I can kind of see why. Bo Nickal has the credential wrestling, decent boxing, has been training at ATT, bada bing, bada boom. He has the sauce to make this his own fight, but I am going to let it be known, if Kyle Daukaus wins this fight, not only will I not be surprised because Kyle Daukaus is a dog. I think if we're breaking down striking, I think Kyle Daukaus is a little bit better of a striker than Bo Nickal. I think he's a lot more fluent on the feet, definitely has the better footwork, has the knees as well, if we're being honest. We know Bo Nickal is pretty weak to the knees and has struggled against guys his own size like RDR. I know he's coming back over a win over Rodolfo Vieira, and he looked pretty good in that fight. So I don't know, it really is, this next fight really tells where Bo Nickal is going to be at. If he loses this one, I don't really think he stays at middleweight for a very long time. Doesn't really seem like a big guy for that weight class, especially like framing wise. He doesn't seem that big, especially compared to other guys like Gregory Rodriguez, Sean Strickland, Brendan Allen. Like, those guys are fleshed out middleweights, and I don't think, framing wise, I think he would have a tough time with those guys. I want to go with the safe pick here. I think it's better if I do. I think it's smarter if I do. I think Bo Nickal, I understand Kyle Daukaus has loads of BJJ experience and could catch Bo Nickal in a Darce choke, but I think if Bo Nickal could just take him down, defend the submissions, and just control him, I think he could be in on a very easy night. So I'm going to go with the easy pick here. Pretty simple to break down. I'm going to go with Bo Nickal getting the win via unanimous decision, possible 30-27. So we go on to the next fight on the main card. I consider this, I know we say Bo Nickal is the safest pick. I consider this the safest pick. We got Mauricio Huffy versus Michael Chandler. Guys, what can I say about this one? It's going to be easy work for Ruffy, man. Like, it's going to be an easy day in the office for one Mauricio Huffy. Michael Chandler is nearly 40 years old. 1-4 his last 5. His only win coming from Tony Ferguson, the dead corpse of Tony Ferguson. That was nearly 4 years ago. And since then, lost to Dustin Poirier by submission, lost to Charles Oliveira via unanimous decision, dominant decision, and then most recently got knocked out by Paddy Pimblett. And in each performance, he's been showing a sharp decline in his style. Mauricio Huffy, despite what you make of him and his grappling, I think if Michael Chandler takes him down, I think Michael Chandler will gas out if he even tries to wrestle. I think the narrative, if Michael Chandler uses his fight IQ, has been long dead. I think if he even tries to wrestle Ruffy in the first round, I think he's going to get immediately tired in the second and third and possibly get knocked out. And if anything, I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think Mauricio Huffy on the feet, far superior than Michael Chandler. I think he's going to pick him apart. I think Mauricio Huffy is going to show that Michael Chandler doesn't belong here with him, especially if it hits the feet. I think if he takes him on the ground, Michael Chandler will control for just a little bit, but I don't think he's going to have any success. I think the fact that Ruffy has also been training with Alexander Volkanovski has just added to his skill level, experience, and just overall good absorbing sponge to know some knowledge on. And yeah, it's pretty easy. I think this is probably one of my easiest locks on the card. I'm going to go with Mauricio Huffy getting the knockout in the second or third round. I think this is going to be a fun fight. Michael Chandler always brings it despite him losing. I don't even want to think about Michael Chandler winning. If Michael Chandler wins this fight, I am deleting my channel. That's how confident I am in Ruffy, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. If Mauricio Huffy wins, easiest lock in the card. We move on to the next fight on the main card nearly a month and 3 weeks ago. So we have the heavyweight bout between Derrick Lewis versus Josh Hokit. One-way traffic for Josh Hokit. This is going to be a very easy fight. Light work. Hoping it's easy as I think it's going to be. This is Hokit's fight to win. What can I say? Derrick Lewis has been looking horrible in his last couple fights. Well, in his last fight with Waldo Cortez Acosta, it was just a complete stinker. The finish sequence itself was so questionable. He didn't even get hit by the jab, but just fell down on his back like a turtle shell. It's like almost like when a cockroach gets flipped over its back and it just keeps moving without it making any sort of progress. It was like that. Seeing Derrick Lewis on his back and just give up and just get the knockout or just get knocked out so effortlessly by Waldo Cortez Acosta just made me question where he's at mentally in his career. He's 41. It's just been win a fight, lose a fight, win 2 more fights, lose a fight. While Josh Hokit has just been on an absolute tear. Had an absolute stunner against Curtis Blades in his last fight out. Probably one of the best heavyweight fights in the world in a very long time, by the way. If you want to see a banger heavyweight fight, I recommend checking out Josh Hokit versus Curtis Blades. That being said, I'm going to be going with the 28-year-old pretty straightforward. I think this is Josh Hokit's fight to win. I think I can almost break this down almost effortlessly. I could see it right now. Josh Hokit's going to definitely land the first punch because he is the faster guy, so I could definitely see him landing a jab or a right hook or a cross. I think that is going to bait a reaction to Derrick Lewis throwing a massive overhand. I think Josh Hokit is going to get an easy double leg or single leg, doesn't even matter. I think he's going to take Derrick Lewis down, possibly control him for the first round, or possibly go for ground and pound. I think we're going to see ground and pound TKO, either in the first or second round. If Josh Hokit fights smart, I don't think he's really a dumb guy. I think he's going to shoot in on the first couple of seconds. I'm going to be timing that, but I think this is Josh Hokit's fight to win, and I'm going to be taking Josh Hokit via first or second round ground and pound TKO. Now we move on to the feature fight of the main card, a bantamweight scrap between the former bantamweight champion Sugar Sean O'Malley and the late bloomer, new kid on the block, Aiemann Zahabi. What a great fight. This is a really good fight. I like both guys here. I like Sugar Sean O'Malley, and I've always been a defender in Aiemann Zahabi, especially in his last 3 fights being controversial. I'll get into that more later, but if I don't think this is a lamb to the slaughter, I think this is a lamb to the slaughter. I am going to be going with Sean O'Malley. Make no mistake. I just want to say one thing. Aiemann Zahabi and his team and GSP been saying a couple of interesting things in interviews, that they have Sean O'Malley's number. They're going to be coming in with a very interesting and unique game plan for Sean O'Malley. GSP is very confident that it's going to work. He's very confident that Aiemann Zahabi is going to win. So a little bit of worriedness there is there for me. Like, it's almost like they know something that we don't. So there's almost that danger of the unknown, and I like that in this fight. So I'm going to be sticking with Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley, far superior striker, way better kicker. If it hits the ground, I think Sean O'Malley will get right back up. up. Aiemann Zahabi isn't nearly the grappler of a Piotr Jan or a Merab. So I think if he tries to take him down, I think he's more so just going to clinch him up against the fence. And I think O'Malley has some of his best work defending up against the fence. So I think if we break it down, speed for speed, Sean O'Malley is faster in terms of his punch speed and his footwork. He's also very hard to hit. One thing I will say, Aiemann Zahabi is a pressure guy, so we're definitely going to be seeing Aiemann Zahabi pressuring forward. And if that happens, don't be surprised if a knockout is going to happen because of that. Some of Sean O'Malley's best work is finding that pull back counter, like the same way he did against Aljo and many other opponents. Aiemann Zahabi does fight forward, and if he does that against Sean O'Malley, he could get potentially KO'd with a pull back counter. So it's a very interesting one. Aiemann Zahabi is also 38 years old and has been riding clean momentum. Bit of a late bloomer, like I said early on, but yeah, I'm going to be going with the heavy favorite here. I think this is Sean O'Malley's fight to win. I think he's going to go out there. I think he's going to style on Aiemann Zahabi. When I break this fight down, more so on the finishing method, I don't know if I want to go Sean O'Malley second round TKO or dominant decision 30-27. So my official pick, I'm going to be going with Sean O'Malley getting the win via second or third round TKO. We move on to the co-main event of the evening. One of probably the best fight on the main card, if I'm being honest. Especially because the main event's pretty predictable. Half the other fights are also pretty predictable. This one in particular is 50-50 as it gets. And I am not surprised the betting odds have it a 50-50. Alex Pereira a -110 underdog. Well, near even, while Ciryl Gane is the -115 near even. So this is 50-50 as it gets, despite what Tapology has it. Tapology has it 75% Pereira, 25% Gane. I disagree with that heavily. This fight is extremely 50-50. This is Alex Pereira going up to Gane's territory. This is Gane's weight class. He's won an interim belt in this weight class, and this is Alex kind of testing himself to get that third belt. Will he win? I don't know. I am not underestimating Gane whatsoever. After his fight against Tom Aspinall, I am going to be not underestimating Gane. He is as good as it comes. This is a kickboxing match. This is definitely going to be a kickboxing match. In a kickboxing match, I could possibly favor Pereira. I know this is Gane's weight class, but kickboxing for kickboxing, I think Pereira is the cleaner kickboxer out of the two, as crazy as that sounds, because Gane has a footwork like none other. It's good, it's amazing, but it's only amazing for the first 2 rounds. I definitely notice when it goes long, Gane starts to slow down a bit with the footwork. It does exert a lot of energy, and he is a big guy, and he's definitely heavier for this weight class. So if he does that similar movement around Alex, I think leg kicks would be acceptable to Alex. I think leg kicks are actually going to be pretty keen for both guys. They're going to be definitely going leg kick for leg kick. Pereira kind of struggles with southpaws, and Gane is a southpaw, while Pereira kind of stands at both similar stances. He kind of switches from orthodox to southpaw, and Gane has kind of struggled against orthodox fighters. Kind of saw it against Volkov, so that is also another thing here. I think both guys are going to be going leg kick for leg kick, and I think if they go leg kick for leg kick, I think Alex Pereira has his number there. Not only that, Alex Pereira has faced off against good strikers, better strikers in Israel Adesanya, Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev, so this is just another day in the park for him. This just feels like something he's seen before, and the fact that he's been training with other heavyweights like Talish and Teixeira, who isn't really much, but is a very big and tall guy, to kind of give Alex an idea of what he's working with for that weight class. And not only that, he's been training with probably one of the best and most dangerous strikers in the world, Rubeles de Spain. Despite getting caught a couple times, he was actually holding on his own, and Rubeles de Spain is a very disgusting striker. I forgot what I think it's Taekwondo. He's probably the best Taekwondo practitioner in the world, and Alex was having his way with him. Not really, but it was more so competitive. So I feel like the experience of kickboxing, the experience in 25-minute fights as well, he can also keep that same pace for 25 minutes where Gane kind of slows down a bit. I think the power is going to be heightened as well. The fact that he has this disgusting Chama power and the fact that he's going up could possibly help him out as well. I think the leg kicks are going to be a factor as well if it goes long. I think instead of this being Alex Pereira early, Gane late, I think this is Gane early, Alex Pereira late. I think Gane is going to look sensational in the first 2 rounds. Closer to the later rounds, I don't think this is going to be a finish. I think this is going to be a decision. I I think Alex Pereira could possibly take the last 3 rounds, 3, 4, and 5, and possibly get a late rounds TKO just due to all the calf kicks, the jabs to the body, going upstairs. Definitely a war of nutrition. This is going to be an absolutely amazing fight. 50-50 as it gets. If Gane wins, I'm not going to be surprised. All that being said, I'm going to be going with my guy, probably one of my favorite fighters as of right now, Alex Pereira, becoming the first ever triple champion for the UFC. And we move on to the main event of the evening, Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Guys, can I say? I've been a firm believer. It's been on the channel. I've been a firm believer of Ilia Topuria way before his debut in the UFC. I've been a big believer in this guy. I've always said he was going to become a champion. The channel's documented it all. I think he's going to destroy Justin Gaethje. With all this weird stuff that's been happening, Sean Strickland pulling the upset, Carlos Alberg knocking out Yuri Prochazka. I mean, order was restored when Alexander Volkanovski beat Diego Lopes, but I think order will be restored here. I don't think no crazy shit is going to happen. I think Ilia Topuria is going to go out there and knock Justin Gaethje out cold in the first and second round. You heard it here first. Confidence. Ilia Topuria, far superior, far younger, has more skills. Greco-Roman wrestling, BJJ. Don't be surprised if he takes down Justin Gaethje. I won't. 29, in his prime. First of all, coming off 2 back-to-back wins over guys that Justin Gaethje lost to. A win over one of my favorite fighters against Charles Oliveira, knocking him out in the first round. Left hook, right hook, hammer fist, just making Charles Oliveira fall like a sack of potatoes. Which, oh, by the way, Charles Oliveira subbed Gaethje in the first round. And before that, a knockout win over Max Holloway. Pretty competitive, but clearly Ilia Topuria's fight. Boom. Knocks him out with a left hook with ground and pound in the second or third round. First man to ever knock out Max Holloway. Oh, by the way, Max Holloway knocked out Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. Before the knockout was just picking him apart. And then before that, Ilia Topuria with a win over Alexander Volkanovski. Despite what you think of Ilia Topuria, this man is world class. 17-0, taking on a guy who is 27-5, 0-3 in title fights if I'm correct. 0-2, 0-3, gonna be 0-4, 0-3 soon. I'm not underestimating Justin Gaethje as far as it sounds right now. I think Justin Gaethje has a win in this fight. I think the leg kicks, keeping your distance, definitely the leg kicks. If he chops at that lead leg to Ilia Topuria, it's going to be trouble. And Justin Gaethje's a dog that leaves it out in the fight. But just because you're a dog that leaves it out in the fight is always meaning that you're susceptible to damage. 37 years old, a lot of miles on the clock, a lot of wars. I'm going to be going with Ilia Topuria. I have him as a confident lock. I think he goes out there, and I think he knocks out Justin Gaethje early. But I think he knocks him out in the second round for some reason. So all that being said, this is pretty clear cut. Pretty interesting one. A very interesting one. This is a great fight card, guys. Thank you guys for listening to my audio commentary for this weekend's fight. Killed it on last weekend's card, by the way. UFC Vegas 118. Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim. Went 10-2. 3-4 on my locks, and by the way, got the main event right. Not a lot of people had Bonfim, and he was an underdog, so I think I'm going to go 7 for 7, possibly go 6 for 7 on this fight card, on this weekend's fight card, on a Sunday, by the way, so I'm going to be having this audio commentary out quicker than usual, so thank you for listening, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!
Dios está contigo. Es hora de cumplir el sueño. Voy a ganar de forma espectacular.